beautiful person. I am so happy to see you again tonight. My name is Hadassah Vitar, and I am here to talk some more about mindsets because we're almost at the end of this book, which is still reversed. Still trying to figure out how to flip that screen on my iPhone. If anybody knows, please tell me. So this book, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck, which has been absolutely life-changing for thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, I would think, by this time, since it came out in 2006. And I am now on day 13. Oh my goodness, day 13 of the 14-day challenge. I think it might take me 15 days to finish the book. So what? We'll keep going. But I'm in the last chapter, which is called Changing Mindsets. And so for the past 12 days, I've been talking about this book. I've been sort of condensing things from it. And I've been putting those in my notes in a Google Doc, which I'm going to be referencing now as I speak to you. And if you would like access to this Google Doc, just drop me a message and I'll be happy to share it with you. So anyway, chapter 8 is about changing mindsets. And first of all, she talks about psychologist Aaron Beck and his discovery of cognitive and development of cognitive therapy. And what that basically means is that it understood that it's people's beliefs that cause their problems. So basically, what I learned as a life coach is that your thoughts cause your emotions, which cause your actions, and then you carry on from there. But it starts with thoughts or beliefs. In this case, he discovered that just before people became depressed or anxious or whatever, they would have this thought, this belief would show up in their head, and they would, and he was able to teach them how to extract that belief and maybe work on it, change it, at least become aware of it. So she says that all people keep a running account in their minds of what's happening to them, what it means, what they should do. And it's a process, an interpretation process, and sometimes the process goes awry and people have extreme reactions. So, hi John, such as anxiety and depression or anger or indeed superiority, depending on what's going on in your mind. So, hi Viviana. So the whole concept of mindsets sort of frames that running account. So if you have a fixed mindset, just to remind you, a fixed mindset believes that that the way you are is the way it's all you've got, that you can't really grow and improve, that your talent and your intelligence is all just the way you are, that's how you're going to be. And that if you're talented and a natural, then you shouldn't have to bother with effort. Effort is for losers. And the fixed mindset is extremely judgmental, whereas a growth mindset is more concerned with learning and growing and becoming better. So when she's talking about how mindsets frame this running story that people have in their minds. So the fixed mindset is focused on judging. So if something happens, this means I'm a loser, this means my partner is selfish, or it means I'm a better person than this other person. Like, we're constantly telling each other these stories. And they did several studies, and what they found is that people with fixed mindsets put very strong evaluations on things. So if good things have strongly positive labels and bad things have strongly negative labels. So there's not a lot of in between. And then people who have a growth mindset are also constantly monitoring what's going on. That's how humans function. But they're not judging as much. They're more looking to what can I learn from this? How can I improve? Oh, my phone is about to die. Probably should have plugged it in. Excuse me, just one. There we go. And how can I improve? How can I help my partner do better? Questions like that, rather than labeling themselves and everybody else. And it's an interesting thing. She talks about cognitive therapy. Cognitive therapy helps people temper their extreme reactions. So, for example, if a person does poorly on a test, they might conclude that they're stupid, and then because they failed this test. And what cognitive therapy might do is might help them find evidence of times in their life that they were actually competent, and then when they show themselves as evidence, it kind of moves them into proving to themselves that they're actually not stupid. But it doesn't take them out of the fixed mindset. They're still judging themselves. They're just maybe not judging themselves as harshly as they were before. Whereas if you're able to move from a fixed mindset to more of a growth mindset, then first of all, you stop judging and labeling so much, because people with a growth mindset in general are not as attached to labeling everything and to judging everything. So that is basically what this chapter is about. So she talks about some things that she did to help students learn about mindsets and move from the fixed mindset to the growth mindset. And she gives some examples about sometimes change can be easy. Like she tells a story about one of her former grad students who, the way it works with scientific papers is that you submit it and then it's reviewed by referees. And generally, most people, the referees will kind of tear it apart. But if the editor still thinks that it's a good, that has potential, they'll send it back to you with all the criticisms, and then it's up to you to respond to them and rewrite the paper, and then you can resubmit it, and they'll go ahead and publish it if they like it that way. So she had this grad student who'd submitted a paper, and the paper had lots of critiques from the referees, and she was just devastated, and she just didn't want to work on it. And then Dr. Dweck pointed out to her that this is not a judgment on her as a person or even as a scientist, because it's the referee's job is to find flaws, and then her job is to fix them. And so, hi Brenda. So it's not really a judgment on her at all. So after that, she felt much better about working on it, and she was like, okay, their job is to do this, my job is to fix it. And there was no judgment involved. It made a huge difference. But it can be also really difficult. And then this last bit, I have to tell you, really struck home with me, because it was like she was talking about me. She says, I'm just going to read to you what she says because I find this difficult. She says, when young children feel uncertain about their parents' love and acceptance, they may create this alternative persona that they feel is more acceptable. And this may work well for them at the time because they're children. They can't really just leave. But it is likely to come with a fixed mindset. And these traits might become who the person thinks they are. And validating these traits may become their source of self-esteem. So I was always the smart one. And it became extremely important for me to always show that I was smart. And I was actually pretty nasty as a kid because such an unpleasant smart mouth. Hopefully I'm a little better now. So anyway, so mindset changes ask people to give this up. And it's not easy to just let go of something that has felt like yourself for many years. And that has given you your root to self-esteem, because people often do quite well when they're driven by this sort of thing. And it's especially not easy to replace it with a mindset that tells you to embrace all the things that have felt threatening, like challenge and struggle and criticism and setbacks. In the growth mindset, these are all good things that are going to make you better and going to help you grow. But in the fixed mindset, these things are scary, and they're going to break you into little pieces. And your ego really doesn't like that. So obviously I'm not going to get through this whole chapter right now. In fact, I think I'm going to stop here because there's a lot more to it, and this can be quite emotional. So I'm going to stop now. I'm going to carry on with it tomorrow, because this is really all the time that I have for this right now. But if you would like access to this Google Doc where I have the notes from this book, just drop me a message. I'll be happy to share it with you. And everyone, have a great evening. Remember, I love you. Talk to you again soon.